The moment the entire building froze wasn't when alarms blared or screens went dark. It was when a tired janitor, still holding a mop, quietly tapped a few keys on a forgotten workstation, and a $300 million data leak stopped in its tracks. Mid-sentence, the CEO's voice died in the air, her confidence collapsing into silence, as everyone realized the most important person in the room was the one they had never seen before. Before this story unfolds any further, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the idea that hidden heroes walk among us every day, please take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel. Your support keeps stories like this alive. Ethan Hale was 37 years old, a single father, and the night janitor at one of the largest tech corporations in the city. Every evening, after dropping his 8-year-old daughter Lily at his sister's small apartment, he put on a faded uniform and cleaned floors that shined brighter than his future ever seemed to. Most people at the company didn't know his name. To them, he was background noise, the quiet man who emptied trash cans and wiped fingerprints off glass walls while executives debated billion-dollar decisions. What they didn't know was that Ethan once helped build systems just like these, before life collapsed under medical bills, grief, and a choice to walk away so his daughter wouldn't grow up alone. Years earlier, Ethan had been a gifted cybersecurity engineer, the kind who could see patterns in chaos. But when Lily's mother passed away suddenly, the world didn't pause. Projects still had deadlines, servers still needed protection, and empathy was scarce. Ethan chose his child over his career, and the industry moved on without him. Certifications expired, contacts vanished, and the only job that fit around school hours and parenting was cleaning offices after midnight. He told himself dignity didn't come from titles, even when exhaustion carved deep lines into his face. On the night everything changed, the building buzzed with tension even after business hours. A critical board meeting had gone wrong, whispers of a massive data breach spreading like wildfire through internal channels. Millions of customer records, proprietary algorithms, and financial forecasts were actively leaking. The CEO and her top executives were still inside the glass-walled conference room, voices sharp with panic, projections flashing red across giant screens. Outside, security teams scrambled, and consultants billed by the minute offered nothing but fear wrapped in jargon. Ethan moved silently as always, pushing his cart past the room. But something stopped him. On a nearby monitor, someone had left a diagnostic window open. To anyone else, it was meaningless code. To Ethan, it was a scream. His chest tightened as instinct took over. The breach wasn't random. It was elegant, surgical, exploiting a legacy authentication flaw he recognized instantly. A flaw he himself had once warned about years ago in a white paper nobody bothered to read. He stood there, heart pounding, mop trembling in his hand. He knew the rules. He wasn't supposed to touch company equipment. He wasn't supposed to get involved. He was just the janitor. But then he thought of Lily sleeping on a pull-out couch, her backpack patched with tape, her quiet question every night asking if things would ever get better. He thought of the millions of people whose data was spilling into the dark web in real time. And he thought of how some problems don't wait for permission. Ethan set the mop aside and sat down. His fingers moved with a speed he hadn't felt in years. He isolated the breach, traced its origin, and deployed a temporary kill switch using a workaround so old and obscure that modern teams had forgotten it existed. He rerouted traffic, sealed the exploit, and initiated a rollback protocol that froze the leak completely. It took less than 30 seconds. The red alerts turned yellow, then green. The bleeding stopped. Inside the conference room, the CEO was speaking, laying out worst-case scenarios, legal fallout, reputational collapse, when the screens changed. Silence fell like a dropped glass. Her words trailed off as executives stared at the data, stunned. The leak was gone. Completely gone. Security rushed out, eyes wide, demanding to know who did it. They found Ethan still seated, breathing hard, hands hovering over the keyboard like he was afraid to touch anything else. His uniform looked out of place among the steel and glass, but his eyes held a calm certainty. For the first time in years, he felt seen, even before anyone said a word. The hours that followed felt unreal. Engineers rechecked everything, consultants admitted they didn't understand how the fix worked, and internal audits confirmed the truth. The breach had been stopped cleanly, without data loss, without ransom, without headlines. What could have destroyed the company had ended before it began, all because a janitor noticed something everyone else missed. When the CEO finally met Ethan, there was no speech, no rehearsed authority. Just a long pause, heavy with realization. She saw not a cleaner, but a man worn down by responsibility, brilliance dulled only by circumstance. She learned about Lily, about the nights Ethan studied while she slept, about the career he sacrificed without bitterness. The room felt smaller then, humbled by the weight of quiet resilience. By morning, the story had spread through the building. People who had never made eye contact with Ethan nodded in respect. Some looked ashamed. Offers were made, not just of a job, but of trust. A role tailored around his life, flexible hours, healthcare that mattered, and a chance to rebuild without erasing who he was. Ethan accepted, not because of pride, but because stability meant everything to a little girl waiting for him at home. Weeks later, Lily sat at a real desk in her own room, drawing pictures of her dad in a suit that still felt strange to him. Ethan still stayed late sometimes, but now it was by choice, mentoring young engineers, teaching them to look closer, to listen to the quiet signals others ignore. He never forgot where he came from, and he never let anyone else forget either. If this story has touched your heart, if it reminded you that worth isn't measured by job titles and that kindness can change destinies, please take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who needs encouragement, and subscribe to the channel. Your engagement helps these stories reach the people who need them most. And before this story ends, I have a special request for you. Please comment below with one word that describes how this story made you feel. Your words matter more than you know. Because somewhere right now, a tired parent is cleaning floors, a forgotten genius is doubting their value, and a single moment of recognition could change everything. And sometimes, all it takes is seconds to remind the world that heroes don't always wear badges, they carry mops, lunchboxes, and the quiet courage to act when it matters most.